Good morning. It's day 2 of the 2020 ASAE Virtual Annual Meeting and Exposition, and this is Association's Now Daily. I'm Julie Shoup. Wherever you are, thank you for kicking off your day with us. We hope you had a great day yesterday, running into old friends in virtual hallways, making new ones in the ASAE Engagement Center or other networking hubs, and of course, learning from experts and each other. There's plenty more of that to be found today. On this morning's show, we're going to give you an inside look at ASAE's Diversity Executive Leadership Program, which is celebrating its 20th anniversary this year. Since the first class assembled in the year 2000, DELP has provided a unique professional development opportunity for more than 200 aspiring association leaders from underrepresented groups. DELP scholars participate in an accelerated leadership program of education, mentoring, and volunteer service. We'll be talking to some of the people who make up the dynamic DELP community about their careers, how they contribute to the diverse association community, and what they hope to accomplish in the future. But before we get started, I'd like to thank the sponsor of today's show, Naylor Association Solutions. Here's a brief word from Naylor.
Hi there, I'm John Bacon, Senior Group Publisher with Naylor Association Solutions.
And I'm Shannon Mertel, the Director of Client Experience for Naylor Association Solutions.
We are very excited to be a sponsor of ASAE's 2020 annual meeting. We want to first and foremost congratulate ASAE on celebrating 100 years. What a huge accomplishment. One of the main themes for this year's event is about making your mark, which ties into the significant role ASAE has played in the association space for the last century. But it's also about making a mark in the world through education, learning, and networking, all the things you're doing during this year's annual meeting. For more than 50 years, Naylor has been devoted helping associations make their mark. Most recently, we've had to adapt and pivot our priorities to ensure our customers continue to do so for their members and thousands of industries and markets they serve.
Whether it's turning your live events into virtual ones, getting a career center up and running, or monetizing in digital communication, in these uncertain times, Naylor's devoted more than ever to building solutions that make associations stronger and helping them make their mark. We'll be in the virtual expo hall today and tomorrow and hope you'll stop by to say hi, to learn more about us and what we do for associations.
This morning, I'm happy to welcome Larry Alexander, President and CEO of the Detroit Metro Convention and Visitors Bureau, and ASAE President and CEO Susan Robertson, to talk with us about the DELP program. Detroit has been a committed sponsor of DELP for many years and hosts an annual reunion to celebrate the new class and give every previous class an opportunity to reconnect. I understand from many DELPers that that's the highlight of their year. Susan, Larry, thank you for being here. Susan, I'll start with you. 2020 is the 20th anniversary of the DELP program, so it's a good time to take a moment to reflect on its impact and legacy. From your perspective, what's the most important impact that DELP has had on ASAE as an organization?
Well, I'll go a little broader, Julie, and say that DELP has had an effect and an impact on the entire association community. And what affects the association community also impacts ASAE. You know, it's wonderful to see DELP scholars and DELP alums at the very top of organizations as CEOs serving on boards, really making contributions at extremely high levels. They're also incredibly generous with ASAE, but moreover, one of my favorite things to do is at the annual meeting at the breakfast that Detroit so generously hosts. And I will say that without Detroit, I'm not sure that DELP would be as strong as it is today. So we're so grateful to them. But I get to read the list of accomplishments of all of the DELPers, and it's a long list. But what that tells me is that by people of diversity showing up and at the top levels of organizations, that's what creates change. That's what makes DE&I work in our association community. That's what creates the energy. So it's a huge impact.
Larry, of course, Detroit has been behind DELP from the beginning. What has motivated Detroit's longtime commitment to supporting DELP over the years? Why has this been important to you and your team?
Well, thanks for that question, Julie. And I think, first of all, we can say that it's a great opportunity for Detroit to partner with ASAE and partner with them on something that is a proven success. As you heard Susan mention, it's great to hear those statistics each year about the opportunity for advancement for people that have gone through the program. Secondly, it's also an opportunity to benefit real change and to make real change take place within the association community. And I would say third is the opportunity for us to really impact and help people of color, people with disabilities and people who may not have the same opportunity to move through that door of success and take on more change opportunity as they move through their careers. So you look at those three reasons, I think that encompasses everything and why Detroit is happy and has been a long-term supporter of the DELP program.
Now, Larry, you're retiring this year, and I'm sure you're looking forward to your retirement, but based on your long involvement with DELP, what advice would you give to young association executives who participate in the program in the future?
That's an easy one, Julia. Well, I would say that it's important for them to remember to give back, to remember that their responsibility is to reach behind them and help other individuals who may be less fortunate, but to give them the support and encouragement that they need to take on more responsibility as they move through the association world. This is a great industry. It's a great community. And I think everyone who can look at the community as a whole and ask themselves the question, what more can I do, will evaluate and give back based on what they determine they can provide to their community. So the more that they can provide, the more help that they can give, the better off the association community will be. And that's what this is all about.
Susan, in this particular moment, when the national conversation is focused on the great deal of work that remains to be done on racial justice and social equity, what role can the DELP program play in advancing those goals, both inside and outside of ASAE?
DELP will play an incredibly important role. Julie, racial injustice is real. It's not a phenomenon. It's not something that's going to fade away. And it's when leaders come together with people inside and outside of the association community and demand change that change will happen. Each of us as individuals and organizations can and will do better. And it's because of DELP and the diversity and equity and inclusion community and those who are committed to DE&I that will make that change possible. Because we can do better, we must do better. We have to move from words into actions. And I think that's where we are right now. DELP is central to the solutions and the actions that we need to take as a community.
Thank you both for being with us, and congratulations, Larry, on your retirement.
Thank you very much.
Now, for a little taste of the DELP community and their Detroit experience, take a look at this.
Welcome to Motown.
Hi, I'm Natasha Bethia.
My name is Blanca Campos.
Hi, my name is Carlos Cardenas.
Hi, I'm Jay Carino.
Hi, I'm Cleonia Colbert-Dorsey.
Hi, I'm Nicole Joyner.
Hi, I'm Haley Jones.
Hi, I'm Michael Martinez.
Hi, my name is Jeffas Miruka.
Hi, I'm Gary Roebuck.
Hi, I'm Camille Sanders.
Hi, I'm Sharmila Sandhu.
I'm Rashida Childress. As you heard a few moments ago from Larry Alexander and Susan Robertson, the DELP community is made up of many dynamic association professionals. I'm joined today by two DELP scholars, Stephanie Reeves and Sharon Newport. Stephanie is the Executive Director of the Maryland Psychological Association and a member of the 2008-2009 DELP class. Sharon is Chief Operating Officer for DHI and Executive Director of the Door Security and Safety Foundation. She is just completing her DELP experience as a member of the 2018-2020 class. Thank you both so much for joining us. Let's start with you as our DELP veteran, Stephanie. What were you doing when you joined DELP, and how did your career change after participating in the program?
Sure. So I was a PAC director and lobbyist for the American Speech Language Hearing Association, and I got into DELP on my third try. And my career just really took off. I earned my CAE immediately afterwards, and then my career trajectory just continued to even now, where I am executive director of a small nonprofit in Maryland. I'm also a member of the ASAE board of directors and was just selected as a fellow for the association. And so I credit all of those achievements to my time as a DELP scholar.
Wow, that's great. So DELP has really helped you go further. Now, Sharon, what was your reason for wanting to participate in DELP, and how has the reality of it compared with what you thought it was going to be?
So at the time of applying, which was the second time I applied, I got into the program. So I too didn't get in the first time. At that time, I was director of operations for DHI and vice president of operations of the foundation, and looking to grow, looking to become a CAE, looking to go into the C-suite, and seeing where that would take me. And I had heard testimonies like Stephanie just shared, where I just thought, gosh, if this program helps me achieve all of these things, who wouldn't want to be a part of that? What I had no idea is that I was stepping into a network that was going to hold and support and cheer for me as a professional, but also as a person who is going to acquire a family. DELP has really become a family, and the community has been that for many years. And until you're in it, there's no way that you can know how that possibly manifests itself. But I did originally think this was a 2-year journey that hopefully as an alumni, I get to be a part of it continuously, and I'll learn what that looks like as it moves forward. And it's gone way beyond what I could have imagined in a really beautiful way.
We're celebrating 20 years of the program, which has the goal of diversifying the ranks of association leadership. Stephanie, what changes have you seen in leadership diversity since you've left the program?
On a positive note, we've seen many more, particularly from our DELP scholars, enter the C-suite and become executive directors or CEOs of their organizations, which is a very positive step in the right direction. I don't think there was that many of us in the program when I started out. And so that's one of the positives that we've seen from that. I think what we need to do going forward is obviously increase those ranks, not only at the CEO, ED level, but just in the C-suite in general, because I think we are at a point where people still are having trouble recognizing that, diverse leadership is key and necessary for the association community. And so as alumni, we have this great opportunity with everything happening to look at how we, those of us in the C-suite, can expand our ranks and also help our colleagues achieve those goals going forward. And then also for our career trajectory, making sure that our first CEO opportunity, if we so desire, is not our last.
Now, Sharon, as you're finishing the program, what is something that you've learned as a DELP scholar that you expect will make a big impact on you, either personally or professionally?
Personally, I have acquired a DELP family, and I had not anticipated. So I identified that a little earlier, is that I have a community of people that I can really, really trust to have not only personal conversations with and personal friendships with that will go with me for many years to come, but professionally, I have a trusted group of colleagues that I can network with to have the tough conversations that you need to have, particularly in the C-suite, particularly when trying to be a leader in the association space, particularly when trying to innovate, when trying to navigate disruption, when trying to be a good steward of the organization. It is important to have other C-suite folks that you can discuss things privately and confidentially and strategically. And so I feel like I've gotten that in a way I did not anticipate. I also am really proud to be a part of a community that, as Stephanie mentioned, is in dialogue with itself about the role that we can play throughout the rest of our careers, well past our time as scholars currently in the program, to bring about supportive change for diversity, equity, inclusion, and access within the larger association space. How are we playing the role infinitely within our careers to do that? And I feel like I have a community that is committed to doing that, and I'm happy and proud to be a part of the impact that I know we're going to continue to make.
Wow, so it sounds like everyone got a good sort of family feel from this program, and you're very close and very connected. That's great. Thank you both for joining us today and sharing a bit about your experiences in DELP.
Now I'd like to welcome today's game changer, Ben Nemtin. Ben is co-founder of the Buried Life movement and #1 New York Times bestselling author of What Do You Want to Do Before You Die? After Ben and 3 of his friends wrote a 100-item bucket list in 2006, they set off on an epic road trip across North America to make those dreams come true. One by one, things that once seemed impossible, playing basketball with President Obama, getting interviewed by Oprah, and drinking a beer with Prince Harry, started to happen. During his session today, he'll speak about resiliency and why leaders and teams have to dig deep within themselves to break through and find opportunity in uncertain times. Thanks for joining us, Ben.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
First, can you tell us what you mean by the buried life?
Yeah, so the buried life was actually the name of a poem written over 150 years ago that talks about how the day-to-day buries what we really want to do. And we have these moments when we're inspired, and that kind of gets buried by work, by other obligations, and by life. And my friend was assigned this poem in English class, and he sent it to me, and he said, listen, this is exactly what we've been talking about. This is how we feel. We have all these dreams, but they're buried. And so we decided to make a list of our buried dreams and go after them. And we thought, well, if we're going to go after our dreams, let's help other people accomplish their dreams. And so that's why we decided to help other people accomplish their buried dreams.
And at a time when a lot of people are feeling stressed and anxious, how can people maintain their optimism and keep aiming high in difficult times?
Well, I think it's important to focus on small habits that you can implement during the day that will make you feel better so you feel like you can achieve your goals. Because sometimes it's hard to achieve big goals if you feel like you're having trouble getting out of bed in the morning, or you're just having trouble getting motivated in general. And so there's many things that you can do just to boost your well-being, to optimize your performance. And these micro habits really build up. And over time, they create a real substantial change. So it's things like practicing gratitude, right? Thinking of one thing that you're grateful for before you go to bed, and one thing when you wake up. That changes the way that you feel. Committing to taking a 20-minute walk outside or in nature. Just being out in nature, whether or not you exercise or not, it makes you feel happy, right? It's called forest bathing in Japan. So that's important to get outside. Exercise also important, as like releases serotonin and dopamine. It gives you that kick that you need. And also service. It's sometimes counterintuitive to think that you want to help others when you feel like you need help. But what that does, when you help someone else, it fills you up, right? It gives you a sense of meaning. It also builds a real connection to a human being, which is important to your personal wellness. So these micro habits are really important to implement.
In addition to people, organizations are struggling too. So can you talk a little bit about telltale signs that maybe an organization is lacking resiliency?
I mean, I think you know your members, and you know how they usually show up, and you can tell if they're not showing up the way that they usually are. If you notice that something feels a little bit different, if they don't have the same energy, if they're not performing the same way that they usually do, and that's nuanced, but that's a telltale sign to just ask them, hey, how's everything going with you personally? And I think that as human beings, checking in on another human being is always a good thing to do.
And in addition to checking in with people, what other steps do you think organizations should take to become more resilient?
Well, I think creating a culture that encourages people to be the best version of themselves, not just professionally, but also personally, right? So, part of it is checking in, and other is encouraging people to do those things that are important in their life. I talk about a bucket list because that's an easy framework to think about. Here's a list of all the things that are important to me in my life, a list of things that are going to bring me joy and happiness and fulfillment. Now, as leaders, if we encourage our team to go after those things that we know are going to mean so much to them, that creates this real connection. Because if you're encouraged to go after those things that you love, not only do you feel grateful to your team and your leaders because they encourage you to do that, but then you feel more energy, right? You feel more alive because you're doing the things that you love outside of work, and so you perform better. So there's real connection between your performance and the rest of your life. Because now when we work, especially working from home, that line between work and home life is very blurry. And so we need to commit to go after and complete the things on our list so that we can feel more fulfilled, and then we can perform professionally.
Great. Thanks again for joining us today, Ben. Be sure to check out Ben's session at 1:30 this afternoon. Before we wrap up today's show, here's another short message from our sponsor, Naylor Association Solutions.
Hi everyone, I'm Laura Taylor, Senior Vice President of Products and Services at Naylor Association Solutions. Thanks for tuning in this morning. For the last 100 years, ASAE has not only had a significant impact on the progress and innovation in the association community, but also to partners like Naylor. We are honored to be a strategic partner and thank you for your contributions. Naylor will be in the virtual exhibit hall today and tomorrow, and we hope you'll stop by. As we continue to navigate this new normal, it's Naylor's goal to find ways to help your association meet its goals and continue to make your mark. Thanks again and have a great conference.
That's it for today's edition of Associations Now Daily. I hope you'll join us again tomorrow at 9:15. We'll have a chat about creativity and innovation with tomorrow's keynoter, Duncan Wardle. We'll get a few tips on career building during a pandemic from an Association Career HQ career coach. And we'll also introduce you to a few international attendees tapping into the meeting from around the globe. Thank you again for joining us this morning. Enjoy your day.